Hi, welcome. My name is Marlene. I have been making my way through my Bella Beauté Bar palettes, revisiting some of them, and today I played with the Vamp palette. I have to say, this is one of my favorite Bella Beauté Bar palettes. The color story was a lot of fun. There are a lot of options for a lot of different looks here. This one was very easy for me to play with, and it just intuitively just grab different colors and play with them. I have noticed that I do enjoy a lot more on the cooler tone side, and this one was just really enjoyable for me to play with. I had a little bit of difficulty working with the Red Roses palette and just organically being able to pick out shades and not having them look kind of dirty and muddy on me. This one was way easier to play with, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. So I created 2 looks. Yeah, let's get playing with it. The seasons are changing here. It is the 1st of October, and I know there's a lot of people that get excited for this change of seasons. Personally, for me, I love the change in weather. It rained here this past week and this week. Today rained too. And we had a thunderstorm actually. I recorded little clips of it because it just sounded so cool. I love the season. I love it when it's cold. And of course, you have all the holidays that go along with it. Some people I know really love Halloween. I just love the horror aspect of it. I love scary movies. Anyways, today we're playing with the Vamp palette from Bella Beauté Bar. I thought it would be fitting to kick off the month with this palette. It was between this and the Basic Witch palette, but I went with the Vamp palette because, I don't know, the color story just kind of spoke to me a little bit more. I'm not feeling very bright today. I'm feeling a little bit more dark. So we're going to play with this one. Eyelids are already primed. Let me show you some of these special shades. Beautiful. Amazes me with their special shades. That red one is so beautiful. Oh, and this one, it's going to be really hard to pick the colors that I want to play with today. This silver one too is calling me, but oof, this one here. Let's do some of the ones on the bottom row. It's Claudia Undead Skin of a Killer. And then this was Shadows Salvatore, Daylight Ring, and a Hello Brother. These ones I feel are a little bit more light and happy shades, and of course these ones feel a little bit more dark and somber, which is more of what I want to go with today. I love their matte shades, so let's just start playing and get on with it. I had some trouble with some of the dark and like red shades in the Red Roses palette that I played with yesterday. I'm not sure which video might come out, whichever one is easiest for me to edit, but I'm very tempted to revisit the red shades and give them another try, and I think I want to use that red one called Drained. But I'm going to start with this pale lavender purple color, Predator. The color payout on this is a lot lighter than I'm used to in Bella Beauté Bar products. They're usually a lot more like pigmented. This one's very pale. I'm gonna see if I can build it up a little bit more, but I don't think I'm gonna get any darker than that. But yes, this spooky season, as some people like to call it, is my favorite because I really like scary movies. I love being scared. And one of my favorite things about this time of year is I remember when I was a kid on the movie channels, whichever ones they were, like AMC or whatever other channels there were, they would just play scary movies back to back, marathons of all kinds of scary movies, and I would just binge watch these movies, and I just loved it. Some of them I probably shouldn't have been watching, but I loved it. One of my first introductions to horror movies was when I was a little toddler, maybe even a baby. My parents were watching Child's Play. I was supposed to be not there, not watching. I think my mom might have said I was hiding behind the couch. So I caught little peeks of the movie, and as soon as I saw Chucky, I freaked out, and I was afraid of dolls ever since then. Even my Barbies, I wouldn't want to play with them. So I'm going in with this color Drained now. I'm already liking this a lot better than the ones I was playing with yesterday. I feel like kind of warmer tones on me don't really work. I like these darker, deeper colors, and I feel like maybe more cool tones work on me. I've always struggled wondering if I'm more of a cool tone or a neutral tone, warm tone. I don't know. But I'm starting to find that I kind of lean more towards cool tones than anything else. Or anything pigmented, really, and creamy. I really like how easy this one blends, and it's not muddying up like the ones I was using in the Dead Roses palette. The other one was not looking cute. It was getting very dark and muddy. But anyways, yeah, even my Barbies, I didn't like playing with them. I would just make clothes for them out of clothes that I had that was starting to get worn out with like holes in them, and or like old socks. I would make little dresses, and then I would give them haircuts. I'm sure a lot of us gave our Barbies haircut, but that's the extent I would play with them. Other than that, I wouldn't trust them. I was afraid that they would get up and attack just like just like Chucky. I do remember my brothers actually really enjoying playing with my little Barbie camper van thingy, and they would play with them like they were action figures. So they enjoyed playing with the Barbies too. I'm sure they won't be upset at me airing that out. Yeah, but that was my first introduction to horror movies was Chucky. And then of course classics like Freddy Krueger, Candyman. I never understood what Candyman was about. I don't think I even really watched the movie. I might have caught like little clips, but in elementary school we would do the whole say his name in the mirror, and then we would freak out and like, you know, run around and chase each other. But I did end up watching Candyman out as an adult, and yeah, it's a classic. Not one of my favorites. I think more of my favorite style genre of horror movies are the really gory, gruesome ones. Since now that I'm an adult and I rewatch these movies as an adult, even Child's Play, up until a couple years ago, I wouldn't even be able to sleep if my boyfriend said his name or showed me a picture of Chucky before bedtime. I wouldn't be able to sleep. Now I'm a little more hardened and it doesn't scare me anymore. The things that do scare me are the gruesome movies like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I've realized that people are the scariest thing to be afraid of in this world, not fake monsters like an evil doll that gets up and attacks. The real monsters are humans. Those are the movies that actually scare me and keep me up at night. The Saw movies. There's some like really weird out there like indie movies that I've seen that are not movies that I would recommend the general public to watch because they're very disturbing. But yeah, but those are my style of horror movies. Things that make me cringe. The gore. I think I'm gonna do the purple one now that I have that. The purple one is called Threshold. I'm just gonna put that in the middle here. I want to use as many colors as I can. So I'm gonna do Eternal, this blue one, and then this gray one, Coffin. I'm gonna do those on the lower lash line. I'm gonna do that in the inner corner and then this on the outer. But then also too, this season brings along a lot of really good food. I like making myself a good hot chocolate, a vegan hot chocolate with some vegan marshmallows. Yes, there are vegan marshmallows. And then of course, once it gets more towards Thanksgiving and Christmas, you have tamales and pozole and all those delicious Mexican foods. I know my boyfriend gets really excited for that time too because him and his family really enjoy tamales. They're Filipino, so it's something that they look forward to, and then they make lumpias and all that other delicious stuff. Last year I learned how to make vegan tamales. I'm excited to make some this year and then maybe make some for my boyfriend with like a little bit of chicken, and that way he can have his satisfaction of tamales. If you're wondering what makes tamales not vegan, there is lard in the dough. I ended up using shortening instead of lard and they came out super good. I do have a recipe video for it if you're interested. I'm trying so hard to get that new channel started up and to transfer all my old recipe videos to the new channel. There's just been a lot going on, and then a lot I'm trying to kind of accomplish before some things happen. I don't think I'm ready to share what's going on in the background, but there has been a lot going on in the background. Oh, great. I ended up smearing some of that shadow. Hopefully I can clean that up. I did a like wearable look and a bold look with the Dead Roses palette. I was not happy with either of the looks, but I am feeling this palette a lot more than the Dead Roses one. The Dead Roses, it's actually out of stock, so I'm sorry for doing a video with a palette that's out of stock. This one is in stock and still available if you are interested in picking it up, but the Dead Roses one is not. Did mention in that video that that one is not really one of my favorite Bella Beauté Bar palettes. It's more down on the list. This one is a lot higher up on the list. But let's start adding some sparkle here. I'm going to do Undead on my inner corner. I'm going to drag that one upwards here. I might blend that out later. And this is a very soft formula, so it is a little more difficult to pick up on a brush. And you have to kind of pick up little bits, if not you might end up with a big chunk like that. So yes, I'm excited for the food that this change of the seasons brings. And the coziness, I like it when it's cold and raining and just grabbing a nice cozy blanket and, you know, cuddling on the couch. Not a fan of the pumpkin spice lattes that I feel like everyone gets excited about with the season. I have tried making my own at home and I like the taste of those a lot better than the ones that they sell in the store. You can just use pumpkin puree with pumpkin spice and a little bit of cinnamon and some sugar. I'll put a little like recipe that I found online. I just kind of improvised it and modified it to my liking. I'm really liking that color. I feel like it ties in the blueness of this because it does have kind of blue reflex in it. So it ties in the blue from under here to up there. Can't decide if I want to just be blinding with that color. Daylight ring. Do I want to darken it up and go with shadows? Or do I want to do Salvatore? Oof. I think that might be the winner. Or do I just want a curveball and do Claudia? I'm really feeling the red. We can do more looks later. Let me know if you want to see those other ones. Yeah, I'm just going to do Salvatore, which is this bright red one. It does have kind of an orangey shift, so it might be a bad choice since we don't really have a lot of oranginess going on. But we're committed now. I actually began my scary movie watching this weekend. I watched a movie that was on Amazon. It was like a La Llorona movie. It was not good. I would not recommend it. I just felt like maybe the story of La Llorona that they were telling isn't the one that I think, or like how I think it goes. I'm gonna have my mom retell me the story and I want to see what her version of the story is, because in this movie they said that she was this married man's lover and she ended up becoming pregnant. I think she ended up going into hiding, had the baby, and then came back to the man and said, "This is your child. We can be a family now." And he pretty much rejected her and then said, "Give me the baby. I'll raise the baby." So she says no. He walks away, and then they meet up again, and she's in the river trying to harm herself and the baby. And then he's like, "What are you doing?" And then I think he ends up throwing a rock, and then she ends up passing, and then he keeps the baby, raises the baby, but I guess his wife ends up being jealous. And it ends up being a daughter, and the jealous wife ends up ending the daughter. The side piece, the mother of this child, she ends up haunting the area and crying and asking for her baby that was taken away. And that is the story that they ended up going with. And this is like, I was expecting more of this lore to be part of the story, but this ended up being like 2 minutes or like 3 minutes of the movie. And that's not how I remember the story going. From what I have heard, the story being told is that yes, she's a mother, that I think her husband cheats on her, and then she ends up drowning the children as kind of revenge, and of course ending her own existence. And then she has the remorse or the regret, so she ends up haunting the area, crying, lo llorona, which means like weeping woman. So she wanders around crying for her children that she's lost, and if there are children out and about, she will snatch them up and take them. So it's kind of more of a cautionary tale that people tell their children there so that they don't go out and play at nighttime. That's kind of how I've been told the story. It's more like if you're out there playing at night, La Llorona is gonna come snatch you up. And which is what me and my brothers were told when we would visit in Mexico and play outside, is that if you weren't careful, she would come and snatch you up. Think I've convinced my mom to let me do her makeup. I don't plan on filming it, but if she's comfortable with me filming it, I'll film it. And I want her to tell me her version of how the story goes, and I want to hear some of her ghost stories because her and her family have encounters with the paranormal. I, unfortunately, or fortunately, maybe I don't want to have these encounters. I have not experienced any spooky things myself. That was one of my favorite things about visiting Mexico, is that like my mom grew up in a place where there wasn't much it was still very rural. So I remember like even electricity wasn't really like built-in like lighting up here. It wasn't really a thing. You would just have some really weird Jimmy rigged stuff. Sometimes you would need to bring a candle to go use the bathroom, that type of thing. And I remember when it would get dark, and yeah, like I think they might have had TV. I think they might have had a TV, but watching TV wasn't really a thing, especially when like we would go visit and we would hang out with my mom's extended family. I remember my great grandmother was still around at this time, but when we would go visit, we would actually sit down, talk, have Mexican coffee with some bread, and we would just talk and tell stories. And that's where I remember hearing a lot of these stories, and I really enjoyed that time. If it wasn't talking and sharing stories, it would be playing games like Loteria, the little bingo card game, the Mexican bingo, just dancing, telling jokes. It was a lot of really fun times and fond moments that I feel like when I was a kid, maybe I just didn't realize how precious those times were. Yeah, I would love to hear more of those stories again because I don't remember them. I remember parts of them, but every time I hear a story being told, it's like I'm hearing it for the first time. I really want to use this top one, so we're going to do that on the lower lash line. Shadows, this super dark moody color. So I guess that's why I really like this season. It's just a lot of comfort that I get from it. From the dark, from the mysterious, from the cold, from the cuddly. I love the smell of the wet dirt when it rains, all of that. So that's why I'm so excited for this time of year. Drag this out, blend it, make it kind of cohesive. I feel like I need more darkness down here, so I'm going to go back in with the gray color Coffin. Okay. I'm going to borrow from another palette to just kind of blend this part out here. The only light color that they have in this palette is this one, and I don't really want to blend up to the eyebrow with that color. I always go to this Lethal Cosmetics palette, the Avatar The Last Airbender. This is the Air palette. This I always go for blending up here into the eyebrow to kind of blend that in. So I guess since we keep putting Hello Brother by accident up here, we're just going to commit and make it part of the look. Just add a little bit of shimmer. That's actually a lot of bit of shimmer. Okay, I'm gonna put on my base. I've been really in love with the Sarah Creel concealer, the Urban Decay Hydromaniac in the color Light 30. So I'm gonna go put those on off camera and then I'll be right back. Alright, so I did my complexion products and I added a little bit of the House Labs blush in the color French Rosette. It's a very pretty color. No bronzer, no eyeliner. Just did a little bit of mascara and filled in my waterline with the Nabla Cupid's Arrow in the color Ivory. I'm gonna do a second look with this palette. That's why I went so not crazy with the eyeliner and stuff, but I'm very happy with that. I don't think it needs eyeliner. I'm just gonna go ahead and do a very kind of tame lip look. This is Lilith from the Bailey Sarian and Melt collection. It's like this concrete looking color. Yeah, I've really been enjoying these, and I think Melt did say that they have a few of the Bailey Sarian collab collection, the full collection, still available. The lipsticks, I think they only have one of the lipsticks available as a single on its own, but I have all four of them, and I have been really enjoying the Melt Cosmetics lipstick formula. It's very, very comfortable, buildable, it smells delicious, and I just feel like they wear so comfortably and nicely throughout the day. These ones I have really been enjoying, and it's my first time trying out the Melt Cosmetics formula. Plus, I really think the colors on these is really cool. Bailey Sarian's like one of my favorites. She's probably the first YouTuber that I like really excitedly watched. That kind of ties into with this like spooky season time. Her way of telling true crime stories, it's very entertaining. Yes, she does kind of throw in a couple jokes to just kind of lighten up the mood, but I really like how she tells the stories, and if anything, these are kind of like cautionary tales for me to think a little bit more cautiously of my surroundings and just, you know, be a little bit more observant. That's why I like listening to these true crime stories. And plus, like I said, the scariest thing to me are people. So it's just kind of like it keeps me on my toes. But I love her personality and her way of storytelling. That's why I got the lipsticks. And all of these lipsticks are named after dangerous women, or dangerous to males, I believe. And then they have this other one, which is Judith. I don't know, she had the story behind like all the women that these lipsticks were named after. And I love that kind of stuff, kind of seeing women as like these powerful, dangerous creatures. This one is a lipstick that's no longer available. It's an Unearthly Cosmetics lipstick in the color ZZZ. But I really love this one. I'm gonna try to, let's see, should we do it on the inner? I guess we're doing it in the inner now. So I really love Unearthly's products. I'm just a little cautious with recommending them now, considering the bad shipping experiences that I have had. So just keep that in mind. Love the products. Products are great, really high quality, but customer service is not the greatest. So just keep that in mind, because I just don't want you to have that crappy experience that I had with them. And I'm just gonna leave it at that. That is my first look. So let's throw in one more finishing touch. The Skin of a Killer shade is very sheer, so I'm going to use that as a highlighter because I don't have a highlight on right now. Okay, look finished. We will leave it like that. I really like vampy looks. I am living for this, but now I have to wash it off so I can do the second look. Alright, face washed, let's do look number 2. Do a little bit more of a tamed look. I'm not great at holding back, so no promises. But I really want to use this Claudia color, and I want to try to use this navy blue color. Maybe sneak in some of this black shimmery gorgeousness. It's called Mikaelson. I'm not too sure. Michelson? Eesh, look at that. Mwah, so beautiful. Let's do Eternal across the entire eyelid. Is that too bright? Too bright. This color is very, very pretty. I really like this one. Love it. I really love these like pale blue colors. It's a color that I never thought would really work on my skin tone. I always found blue eyeshadow and red lipsticks to be like very harsh. I don't know, it's kind of like the cartoons in the movies. They always portray like the floozy as like having like bright blue eyeshadow and red lipstick. I don't know if I'm just remembering that wrong, but I just feel like every like representation of kind of like the promiscuous woman or the out there kind of woman always had bright blue eyeshadow and red lipstick. And now I just freaking love blue eyeshadow and I love red lipsticks. I love really vampy dark lipsticks too, but like, I don't know. I'm deprogramming. I do whatever makes me happy now. Going to do the Lestat dark navy color. Just gonna put that right here. I'm gonna smudge it out or buff it out in a bit. That navy blue color too. Super gorgeous. Gonna bring that on the lower lash line too. So my favorite Bella Beauté Bar palette is the Poison Garden palette, but this one is becoming a close second. It's, I don't know, surprisingly fun to play with. These colors aren't really colors that I would like put together or like think of working with. Like I feel like blue and red is like very kind of opposing colors for me. Like they just feel like they shouldn't go together. The issue I had with the Red Roses palette was I was kind of having issues working with just the one palette to create a look and picking colors that worked together and that didn't kind of feel like they were not really working with each other. I just feel like they were not harmonizing. But with this one, I'm like, well, maybe, you know, this color shouldn't really work with this color, but I feel like they worked out just fine. And I'm finding all these like different color possibilities that I would really like to keep going and keep playing with. So this one, I'm having a lot of fun. I'm going to do the Claudia shimmer. Ooh, and speaking of horror movies, if you have any that you really like and that maybe I should check out, let me know. There's probably a lot I haven't seen. And if I may recommend some to you if you are also a horror fan. These ones are in Spanish, but there's a series of movies that are called The 6 Films to Keep You Up at Night or Awake at Night. And there's 2 in particular that are really, really good. These were like a lot different than the standard horror movies that I had seen. The movies are To Let and The Baby's Room. Both of those movies I really enjoyed. I remembered I have the DVD for them. So those are on my to watch list for this spooky season. And also, if you've seen the movie Quarantine, that's actually a remake of a Spanish film called Rec. The Spanish version, R-E-C-K, Rec, like record. That one, I don't know, that one just felt a little bit more spookier for me than the Quarantine movie. So if you're looking for a nice horror movie to watch, I know, like I said, these are all in Spanish. Use the subtitles and you'll be fine. But these movies are like really good and I would totally recommend them. Gonna do Daylight Ring. On the inner corner. Gonna go back into my Avatar palette with that same shade, Air Temple. The Skin of a Killer, the one that I used as a highlight. Gonna put that up here. I have this Singe Beauty blush. It's in the color Risky Raisin. I didn't like these too much the first time I tried them because I feel like they kind of settled into my pores. So let's give it another try. I just didn't really like these the first time. So I just feel like they were kind of like they just kind of sit on top like that.
What damage do you have? Talent.
Way too bold, mama. Okay. I don't know, they're just not as user-friendly for me as other blushes I have. I just ruined a look, probably. Oh, it's okay, we can make this work. Okay, let's do the same on the other side. Or like the House Labs one was like super easy to use and super easy to blend out. These ones are a little bit more difficult for me. Okay, let's put that down. We can save this. We can save this. Just get the excess on here. Okay. Okay. Let's see. We can fix this. Clean brush. Okay, it's not bad. It's not as bad anymore. Actually kind of cute. Now I kind of like it. But what do we think of the blush? I do really like the shimmer that it has, or like the sheen. I just wish I was a little bit more talented to where I can apply it decently, but this is the color. Let's see if I have a clean finger. Yeah, it just needs a little working into the skin for it to look good. And I don't have the finesse in these hands to do that. Dive into my Oracle palette. Oof, this one is called The Star. And it has a little bit of blue in it. So I'm going to use that as my highlight. Okay, I think we saved the look. Gardeners are here. I'm going to do mascara and eyeliner off camera. I tried going in with the Blend Bunny Cosmetics lip gloss. This is the one in collab with Donnie Darkowitz. It is this lip gloss here. I tried to go over it, but it just kind of broke everything up, and I really want to go in with the gloss. This is an unearthly one in the color Creamer. I'm probably going to ruin this. Or it might work. Yeah, it's a little bit more comfortable. The Creamer lip gloss. Unfortunately, I think they did discontinue these. But this feels a little bit more comfortable just to have a little bit of gloss so my lips don't feel so tight. That is my finished second look with the Vamp palette. I kind of like this one a little bit more than the last one. I feel like this is kind of really my colors. I don't know, I've just really been drawn to pale blue colors recently. I feel like I go towards them a lot, especially like the pale blue with the brighter blue. Ugh, I just love this. This was a lot of fun. This has become one of my favorite Bella Beauté Bar palettes. I feel like I could do a lot more looks with it, and it was very easy to just intuitively pick colors that kind of go together and to just kind of rely on this single palette for looks, other than that one shadow that I keep borrowing from the Lethal Cosmetics Avatar The Last Airbender Air collection. And the blush is slowly growing on me. I just wish I was better at applying it, but this one's really beautiful. I do have the other colors, so if you're interested in seeing the other colors in action, let me know. And if you're interested in seeing more looks, also let me know. These Melt lipsticks have also been a lot of fun to play with. I really like the colors. Melt also does have other lipsticks that are more staples in their collection. One is called 666. Is a lot more of a dry matte formula, but it's still very comfortable to wear. I don't know, these lipsticks have been a lot of fun. They recently released some like really pale pink colored lipsticks that I have been having my eye on, but like I said, I'm just trying to enjoy what I have. So that's it for today's video. I am still making my way through my Bella Beauté Bar palettes, and I look forward to playing with this one again. But thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you in another video. Take care. Bye.